This is the story of a time long ago. A time of myth and the legend. 2,800 years ago, a blind poet named Homer gave the world two legendary tales that would shape storytelling forever. The first, the Iliad, told of the brutal Trojan War, where a cunning plan involving a giant wooden horse led to the fall of a mighty city. But Homer wasn't done. His second masterpiece, the Odyssey, followed the daring escape of one man, Odysseus. After 10 years of war, Odysseus set sail for Ithaca, longing to reunite with his family. But the gods have other plans. From seductive Lotus Eaters that make men forget home to one-eyed giants thirsty for blood. From enchantresses turning men into swine to deadly sea monsters lurking below. Odysseus must battle both myth and fate just to survive. It's a tale of wit, courage, and an unbreakable will to return home. But here's the twist. Did the Odyssey really happen? Was Homer even a real person? Scholars have debated this for centuries. Some say he was a single, brilliant poet, while others believe he was just a name given to a collection of storytellers whose tales were passed down for generations. And some even question whether he existed at all. And what about Ithaca, Odysseus' legendary kingdom? Historians still can't agree on its real location. Is it the modern Greek island of Ithaki, or could it be the Peliki Peninsula on Kefalonia? Despite countless theories, the truth remains elusive. Whether based on reality or pure myth, the Odyssey keeps us hooked because it's more than just an adventure. It's about fighting against impossible odds and never giving up.
As Odysseus and his weary crew sail across the vast, unforgiving sea, they stumble upon a seemingly peaceful island inhabited by the Lotus Eaters. These mysterious inhabitants offer them sweet, hypnotic lotus flowers to eat, and that's where the trouble begins. The flowers act like a powerful narcotic, causing the crew to forget their homes and lose all desire to continue their journey. It's as if they're trapped in a dreamy, blissful haze, completely unaware of the consequences. Realizing the danger, Odysseus forces his men back to the ship, dragging them away from the island's intoxicating influence. Next up is one of the most iconic and terrifying encounters of Odysseus's journey, the Cyclops Polyphemus. After seeking refuge in a cave, Odysseus and his men are horrified to discover that it belongs to a monstrous, one-eyed giant. Trapped and desperate, they witness Polyphemus devouring several crew members. And Odysseus knows that brute force won't be enough to escape. Using his clever wit, Odysseus devises a plan. He offers Polyphemus strong wine, introducing himself as nobody. Once the Cyclops is thoroughly drunk, Odysseus and his men drive a sharpened wooden stake into his single eye, blinding him. As the monster cries out in pain, he yells that nobody is attacking him, tricking the other Cyclopes into ignoring his pleas for help. The next morning, as Polyphemus blindly moves the stone to let his sheep out to graze, Odysseus and his men cleverly cling to the undersides of the animals, escaping unnoticed. But in a moment of pride, Odysseus reveals his true identity as they sail away, bringing the wrath of Polyphemus's father, Poseidon, down upon them. Was Polyphemus merely a myth? Or could he symbolize the dangers of ancient coastal tribes or unexplored lands? The Cyclops story remains one of the most thrilling and thought-provoking parts of the Odyssey. After surviving countless perils, Odysseus and his crew arrive at the floating island of Aeolia, home to Aeolus, the keeper of the winds. Impressed by Odysseus's story and journey, Aeolus gifts him a bag containing all the winds, except for the gentle west wind that will carry them home. But disaster strikes when Odysseus falls asleep, and his curious crew, suspecting treasure, opens the bag, releasing the chaotic winds and blowing them hopelessly off course. All their progress is lost in an instant, and they're thrown back to Aeolia, only to be turned away by Aeolus, who now believes they are cursed by the gods. The story of Aeolus serves as a cautionary tale about trust, temptation, and the catastrophic consequences of human folly. As if treacherous winds and vengeful gods weren't enough, Odysseus soon encounters the terrifying Laestrygonians, a race of giant cannibals. Landing on their seemingly peaceful shore, Odysseus sends scouts to investigate, but they are quickly devoured by the towering savages. Before long, The Laestrygonians ambush the fleet, hurling massive boulders that shatter ships like fragile toys. The sea runs red as the giants feast on the unfortunate sailors, leaving only Odysseus's ship intact, moored safely away from the shore. Was this bloodthirsty tribe merely a mythological metaphor for hostile cultures encountered during ancient voyages, or did Greek sailors really face the wrath of brutal unknown tribes? Whatever the truth, the Laestrygonians mark one of the darkest and most brutal chapters in Odysseus's journey. Fleeing the horror of the Laestrygonians, Odysseus and his remaining crew reach the island of Aea, home to the powerful sorceress Circe. As his men venture to explore, they are welcomed with food and drink, only to be transformed into swine by Circe's wicked magic. Learning of their fate, Odysseus sets out alone to confront the enchantress. With the help of the god Hermes, who provides him with a magical herb called moly to resist her spells, Odysseus forces Circe to return his men to human form. Impressed by his resilience and wit, Circe becomes his ally and lover, and the crew ends up staying on her island for a full year, enjoying comfort and hospitality, though haunted by the longing for home. Eventually, Circe agrees to help Odysseus on his journey, but not before warning him of the many perils that still lie ahead. Circe's tale has fascinated scholars for centuries. Was she purely myth, or could she symbolize real ancient healers or priestesses who possessed seemingly magical knowledge? The line between legend and reality once again blurs in this enigmatic chapter. Guided by Circe's advice, Odysseus sails to the dreaded Underworld to seek the prophet Tiresias. In a chilling and haunting ritual, he summons the shades of the dead, including his fallen comrades and even his own mother, who reveals the heartbreak of his absence. Finally, Tiresias appears and foretells the harrowing path still ahead, warning Odysseus to avoid the sacred cattle of the sun god Helios at all costs. The prophet also predicts Odysseus's final return to Ithaca and the trials he will face there. But it's not just Tiresias who speaks to him. Odysseus also encounters Achilles, who laments his fate despite his legendary heroism, and Agamemnon, whose tragic story of betrayal casts a dark shadow on the notion of a glorious homecoming. Back on the open sea, Odysseus must next confront the alluring and deadly sirens, creatures whose enchanting voices lure sailors to their doom. Forewarned by Circe, he orders his men to fill their ears with beeswax, while he himself is tied to the mast, determined to hear their haunting melody without succumbing to its power. As they sail past, the siren's song drifts across the waves, promising wisdom, pleasure, and unimaginable knowledge. Odysseus writhes and strains against his bonds, begging to be released, but his loyal crew obeys his earlier orders and keeps him secure. Once the sirens are safely out of range, the danger is past, but the memory of their seductive voices lingers, haunting Odysseus's mind. The sirens symbolize the ultimate temptation, promises of greatness that, if pursued recklessly, could lead to utter ruin. But did such creatures ever exist, or were they simply symbolic warnings about the perils of distraction and desire? As if the sirens weren't enough, Odysseus soon faces one of his greatest trials, passing between two horrific sea monsters, Scylla and Charybdis. Scylla, a hideous, multi-headed creature, lurks on one side, while Charybdis, a massive whirlpool, threatens to swallow the entire ship on the other. With no real choice, Odysseus opts to sail closer to Scylla, sacrificing a few of his men to ensure the survival of the rest. The monster snatches the unfortunate sailors in a horrifying instant, leaving the others to watch in helpless terror. The ship narrowly avoids being sucked into Charybdis, but the gut-wrenching loss remains etched in Odysseus's heart. Odysseus and his weary crew finally arrive at the island of Thrinacia, home to the sacred cattle of the sun god, Helios. Despite repeated warnings from both Tiresias and Circe to avoid harming the cattle at all costs, hunger and desperation push the men to their breaking point. While Odysseus prays for guidance, his men, led by Eurylochus, slaughter the sacred animals. As they feast, ominous signs appear, hides crawl, and raw meat bellows as if alive. When Helios learns of their transgression, he demands vengeance from Zeus. As soon as they set sail again, Zeus unleashes a brutal storm, shattering the ship with a thunderbolt. All the men perish except Odysseus, who barely survives by clinging to the wreckage. The punishment serves as a stark reminder of the dire consequences of defying the gods. Was this a cautionary tale against human arrogance, or a symbolic lesson about respecting nature and divine will? Either way, it marks one of the most tragic points in Odysseus's epic journey. Washed ashore on the island of Ogygia, Odysseus is discovered by the beautiful nymph Calypso, who takes him into her care. Enchanted by his presence, she falls deeply in love and keeps him prisoner for 7 long years. Though Odysseus longs to return to Ithaca, Calypso offers him immortality and eternal youth if he stays with her. Yet his heart remains loyal to his homeland and his wife Penelope. Eventually, the gods intervene. Zeus sends Hermes to order Calypso to let Odysseus go. Reluctantly, she obeys, providing him with supplies to build a raft and finally resume his journey. Exhausted and near defeat, Odysseus is washed up on the shores of Scheria, home of the Phaeacians. Here he is discovered by Princess Nausicaa and brought to the palace of King Alcinous and Queen Arete. Treated with kindness and hospitality, Odysseus recounts his harrowing adventures to the fascinated court. Impressed by his tale and moved by his longing for home, the Phaeacians provide Odysseus with a ship and safe passage to Ithaca. When Odysseus finally reaches Ithaca, he finds his palace overrun by arrogant suitors vying for Penelope's hand. Convinced that he is long dead, disguised as a beggar, he observes their shameless behavior and tests the loyalty of his household. With the help of his son Telemachus, the faithful swineherd Eumaeus, and a few loyal servants, Odysseus formulates a plan. In a dramatic twist, Penelope proposes a contest. Whoever can string Odysseus's great bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads will win her hand. One by one, the suitors fail. Finally, the beggar steps forward, effortlessly strings the bow, and makes the perfect shot. Revealing his true identity, Odysseus unleashes his wrath, aided by Telemachus and his allies, slaughtering the suitors and reclaiming his kingdom. This climactic scene is not just a triumphant homecoming. It's a powerful statement on justice, loyalty, and the ultimate triumph of the rightful king. The epic journey of Odysseus is not just a tale of adventure and heroism, but also a profound exploration of human resilience, loyalty, and the struggle to find one's way home. Whether rooted in myth or reality, the story has left an indelible mark on literature and storytelling for thousands of years. The Odyssey's themes of perseverance, cunning, and unwavering determination resonate across cultures and generations, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit can endure. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey through one of history's most legendary stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to catch more epic tales and myths brought to life. What's your favorite part of the Odyssey? Let us know in the comments.